Hello and welcome to Whisky and Wool. My name is Shannon and I am coming to you from northern New Jersey in the United States, where I work and where I live. And these days I am both working and living in the exact same space. We're on a shelter-in-place order due to the coronavirus, and it's been interesting. I am working 100% remotely. Everyone. My university is 100% remote right now. There's some essential personnel on campus. We do have a few students who don't have anywhere to go, so they continue to live in the residence halls. But there is no intention of returning to campus for this semester. So, and our semester ends in mid-May. So I will be working from home probably at least until May. Early May, I would say. I mean, if we go back, our students won't be coming back. They may be back for summer sessions, which would start towards the end of May, like around Memorial Day weekend. So that is the situation at where I live with Corona. I'm lucky that I live in a beautiful house. I live with my sister, and she's very successful, and I have a beautiful little apartment in her home, and it's really awesome. And it's nice to see her on a regular basis, like to see her and her family members. We're all at home. The kids are home doing school from home. Her kids are 14, 15, and 22. Everyone's working remotely. My brother-in-law is as he likes to say, a man of leisure. He's a stay-at-home dad. And he's working hard too. We're all getting our stuff done. I'm grateful that I have a job that allows me to work from home, and that I didn't have to be laid off or something like that, like I know a lot of people have been. And yeah, it's scary, different. It's a really strange new world, and I think it's gonna, I think we're all gonna be marked by this in some way, this pandemic. In some way, and luckily everyone's really healthy. My sons, I have 3 adult sons who are all living in their own places in New York City. A couple of them have roommates. One is married. So, they've all been working from home. Their companies were really good about getting them into a work from home scenario right away. So we've all been 100% working, sheltering in place for the last 2 weeks. Everybody's healthy. No one has any signs or symptoms of corona. So it's really good, because it is getting pretty frightening in the hospitals here in the New York metropolitan area where I live. In fact, our school has been, we've asked our students who weren't returning to campus to completely move out, to come back and get their stuff, because our campus might be used as a hospital. They might put quarantined people into the dorms. So, it's a possibility. So, yeah. Strange times. Okay, so I am going to put a clip in here of my whiskey chat. Usually they run about 10 minutes. I'll put the skip to minute point if you're not interested in listening to the whiskey chat and you want to get right to the wool chat. I'll tell you where to skip to right here, but otherwise I'm going to hand it over to my future me, because later today, this evening, I will do a little whiskey chat with you. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to do a whiskey tasting for you. I hope you don't mind my change of view, and you're getting my Zoom view. This is what everyone sees when I Zoom with them, now that I'm working from home and connecting with everybody remotely. So it is now evening. I recorded earlier, and I realized I didn't really ask about, is anybody Zooming knit-alongs or knit nights? I'm super interested if you are, and I'm wondering how you're finding it. Is it good, or is it just kind of lame? I don't know. Just wondering. Anyway, I'm going to take you through a tasting. Tonight we're tasting one of the little gems that I got in my whiskey advent calendar in this past Christmas in 2019. And this one, I'm going to do my best to pronounce. I'm going to click over and read the pronunciation of this whiskey. It is called Bunnahbhain. Bunnahbhain. It is a Islay whiskey from the Isle of Islay, or Islay. I think it's actually Islay. I'm not sure. My American accent versus the Scottish, the lovely lilt of Scottish speak. So Bunnahbhain means mouth of the river or bottom of the river. This particular bottle or tasting is one that has a super weirdly spelled name, which I'm going to, sorry Scots, I apologize, but it's, my Anglo eyes. This is a strange spelling. So I'm going to put it on screen, and then I'm going to tell you that it is pronounced, according to Google, as Stiuireadair. Stiuireadair. It's got like a lot of Gaelic. This is Scots Gaelic pronunciation of both the distillery and this particular bottle. And that word, Stiuireadair, it has so many vowels and consonants in such weird places for English speakers. It means helmsman. So the story is that this Stiuireadair, I sure hope I'm saying that right. I know someone will correct me if I'm not. This was brought out to replace their 12-year. I have read about it. It is a sherried malt. So here's my glass. I haven't even tried it yet. Oh, it's sweet. It has I smell like caramel, burnt caramel maybe even, but wow. Super sweet. So this was brought out to replace, I guess they had a 12-year, and this was brought out to replace it. So I'm going to read to you a little bit about their story. So they were, I'll put a picture of their distillery and some pictures as I talk about them, because they have a great website, like a really awesome website. Some of these distilleries that I'm talking about have not so great websites. There's not a lot of information, which is why like sometimes some weeks you get a lot of information and other weeks you don't get much. So they have a big they get into their history, and anyway, they were established in 1883, so they've been around for a long while. As far as I can tell, there was no lapse in their production. They have about 28 different bottles, different types of bottlings that you can buy. I mean, of course, some are limited, but yeah, they have, I'm pretty sure they have close to 10 in their regular repertoire, like things that they continually produce. So this is one that they continually produce. So yeah, established in 1883. Is that what I said? Whatever I said, that was it. Oh, they did close their doors in the aftermath of World War I, but then they reopened 7 years later. So, and not much has changed since then, they say on their website. And they said the biggest change was in 1960 when they suddenly had a road to them and they didn't have to rely on boats to get to their jobs. So that's cool. They introduced their 12-year, which is the one that I'm kind of drinking, in 1979, and have continued with it since. It is not, this particular bottling was not. It's, if you look for it, it should be in the $50 to $60 range. It's not an incredibly expensive bottling necessarily. Oh, in 2006, they were bought out by Burn Stewart Distillers, and then had a major brand relaunch and a redesigning of everything. So that's probably around the time that this came out. And then in 2010, their whiskeys returned to being produced in non-chill filtered with a natural color, just as they had been done by their knowledgeable forefathers in the 1800s. And in 2014, Burn Stewart merged with Distill, which heralded more investment into both the brand and the distillery. And in 2017, the packaging was again revamped and remodeled. And that's when the Stiuireadair came out. Yeah, so that is their story, and I guess they have really great. It looks like they have really awesome visits, and stuff like that. So it looks really pretty. Of course, the Isle of Ely has mini distilleries. I think there's 9 official ones, and there might be some unofficial ones. I'm not really sure. But it would certainly keep you busy if you visited for a week or two. You'd be busy there tasting all of the whiskeys and things. All right. I'm going to try it. I smell caramel. Definitely. Oh, yes. Oh, there's something interesting that happens at the end. Okay. Let's try it again. So up front, you get all this sweetness, like honey, caramel. Yeah, like maybe stewed fruits even. I don't have a strong cherry taste. There's a little bit of, I want to say it's chili, like a spiciness. Ooh, salt too. Definitely salt. There's a little salt and spice in the back, almost like a salted chocolate bar or something like that. Like because you get this intense sweetness up front, and then it finishes with this spicy, salty taste. It's so good. Yum. Really, really good. Yeah, definitely very salty in the back. Okay. Let me see. Is there, let me tell you what it says on a pro review tasting website. Okay. Appearance and color, amber gold. Yes, indeed. It's got a nice rich gold color. Oh, and it is matured in sherry casks, so we know that. Also, what I found when I was reading through some of their story, their wash, there's a part of the distilling process that includes wash barrels that are massive, like 8 by 8, like 8 feet diameter, huge mash bins. Those are made out of Oregon wood, which I thought was interesting. I was like, look at America helping Scotland make their scotches. Okay. Anyway, back to the pros. The pros said, the nose is supposed to be dried fruit, hazelnuts with sweet notes of caramel. Okay, yeah, it's overwhelmingly caramel for me, but I could see the dried fruit. Hazelnuts? Not so much. Flavor, palate, taste. Cinnamon, I almost want to say it's like spicy, but I think that might be the heat of the alcohol. Oh, so they're saying cinnamon, honey, and a hint of seaweed. That's the salt. That's the salt taste that I'm tasting. And then finish, light and long, chocolate and cherry flavors linger. So that's why I'm saying like a chili chocolate with salt. Cool. So it says that this particular, let me try to do the whole pronunciation. Bunnahbhain. Wait, did I do that right? Bunnahbhain Stiuireadair is adored for its sherry caramel, chocolate, and hazelnut flavors. The Scotch is carefully distilled at the distillery in Ely. It's got a well-developed and full flavor. You get the sweetness of the sherry, but you still have that Ely punch, and that just sings to my palate. Cool. It's not really peaty. Like some of the Ely distilleries are known for the peat. And this one's not really peaty. They probably, in their repertoire, because they have so many different types, they probably have one that's very peaty. Anyway, you know, it's so funny talking about the coronavirus. There's a notice on one of these websites I'm looking at that says, "We're seeing increased demands, but we are fulfilling orders without issues." Good to know. Good to know for your whiskey tasting, for your own whiskey tasting. You know, meanwhile, like, I'm down to like, I had 25 of these. No, maybe 24. I had 24 of these. I think I'm down to like 7. So I got to make those last. Otherwise, I'm going to have to start investing in big bottles. And big bottles are, at the littlest, $40. So, and you know I like my whiskeys. So I'm not going to just buy $40 bottles. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this little whiskey chat. I hope you have some lovely sipping of your own to do, and I will see you next time. Bye. Okay, enough about that. Let's talk about wool. I am wearing the Rye Layering Tee, which is a pattern of my own design that is currently out testing. I will just put some in my show notes. I'll put my project page, and you can check all about whatever if you're interested in this. If there's something that you're having trouble figuring out or you want to know more about, just write me a question in the comments, and I'll help you out. But you can I write pretty copious notes in my Ravelry project pages. Anytime that I do any modifications, everything's in the project pages. So you should be able to see information about the pattern. And I'll be talking more about this pattern when I get to my whips, which I'm going to get to right now because I don't have any finished objects. I don't know about you, but I thought working from home, I might have a lot more time to craft, but it turns out that I actually don't have a lot more time to craft. And I find that I have been really struggling to get my sea legs, so to speak, in this whole work from home scenario, because I am like, I don't know, my brain just sometimes feels like it's working really hard to process, like that spinning wheel that you get when your computer's processing. I feel like my brain is doing that, like just going, I just am like spending a lot of time staring up into the clouds and just going, all right, I gotta get myself together here. I have found, I don't know if any of you all are working from home, but I have found that putting on a YouTube channel that is like 10 hours or 8 hours of rain falling or ocean waves, just where it's just, you're just seeing, it's just a picture, of rain falling on a roof or ocean waves. I think I might have said this last time, but man, it is a lifesaver. Like, I put that on, it relaxes me, it relaxes my cat, it helps me focus. My little meow meow calms himself down, and Snow curls up in a ball on the couch next to me, and yeah, and then I'm able to do a little work and get stuff done. But yeah, okay, Rye Layering Tee, my own design. It's out with testers. Testing is slower than normal, than it probably normally would be in normal times, because it's an abnormal time. This is an unusual time, and my testers have been, sucker punched, so to speak, by the pandemic, and everybody has other things that are more important than meeting deadlines. So it'll be done when it's done. I hope to have it published by the end of April. But yeah, it seems like it's going along well. Like, I'm getting very little issues or changes. People haven't really found a lot wrong with the pattern, which is great because that'll make editing faster later. And yeah, I have to finish mine, which, all right, I'll tell you about that since I'm on the Rye Layering Tee. Let's just stick with the Rye Layering Tee. I want to finish mine for pattern photos. So this is the Henley version, and then I've also got a crew neck version. So I have made some progress on this. This is a pretty mindless knit. It is a rib stitch. This rib stitch is a 2x1, so 2 knits with 1 purl row, so it's a 3-stitch repeat. I was really curious. This is the way the pattern is written. You choose your own rib or textured stitch, or you can even do stockinette if you want. It does have a set-in sleeve, which you get a good view of the armscye right there. And you can choose to do crew neck, you can choose to do a Henley, the directions are there for both. You can do any sleeve length, you can do, long, I love long sleeves. So you could do long sleeves, 3/4, whatever, in the sleeve, wherever it works for you. Short, no sleeveless even, I guess, if you wanted. You could just do a little rib trim. That would actually be cute. I might have to do one of those. This particular one that I'm doing, I'm also doing color blocking on it. So I've got 2 Plucky Knitter Sport, Primo Sport, I think it's called. Yeah, here it is. Plucky Knitter Primo Sport. So the pattern is written for the gauge of a sport weight yarn, but I'm going to be testing the parameters of that by using a fingering weight yarn, which I'll tell you about when I get the stash acquisitions. So yeah, Primo Sport, this is Aunt Bootsie. This variegated green is called Aunt Bootsie, and this gray is called Full Steam Ahead. Aunt Bootsie is definitely still dyed by Plucky Knitter. I don't know about the gray, but she has a lot of grays, and there's a lot of very pretty colors. I say this every single time I show this sweater, and that is that this yarn is very plump and round, and it has really awesome stitch definition. It's made me want to knit more things with it. I have a cable sweater I'm planning to knit for one of my sons for his birthday or Christmas, that's in the fall, so I have a lot of time. And I was looking on Ravelry at these stashes for yarn. I found a lot of possibilities. I just don't want to pull the trigger right now because I have so many other things going on knitting wise. So I'll probably do that later on in the summer. I'll probably pick up enough yarn to make his sweater. So what else can I tell you about this? I am about 4 inches from the bottom. So once I get to the bottom, I will knit the sleeves. The sleeves are knit top down. I like to put little stitch markers where the shoulder joins are to help me later when I I use those as points of reference in the pattern for knitting the sleeve and the collar. So yeah, I like it. I like it so far. So the plan with the color blocking, I'm going to finish out the next 3.5 inches or so in the green, and then the very last few rows, like 1/2 inch or so, will be the gray again. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with the sleeves. The sleeves are going to probably closely follow the color blocking pattern that's in the body. I think that's what I want to do with that, because I could do more solid sleeves and then just kind of do some broad stripes. But I think what's going to happen is that the gray will land about at the elbow. This gray should end at about the elbow. That stripe should match up with the elbow. Yeah, I think it'll work. And then I'll probably just do a whole bunch of green until I get to the end. I have more green yarn than gray yarn, so I do need to be mindful of my yarn yields. But yeah, that is a new pattern. Be out in April. You could do either version, either the crew neck or the Henley. It'll be a choose your own adventure for several things. You can choose to do the tipping or not tipping. All of those are, easy to do when you're, on your own, like sort of figure out what you want. With that version, this is a 4-stitch repeat. No, I think it might be a 8-stitch. Anyway, this is an even stitch repeat. This is mistake rib, the stitch on this pattern, which, can you see it there? It's kind of hard to see because of for one, my camera's blurry, but the variegated, the color of the yarn makes it a little harder to really see the pattern. But yeah, anyway, it's mistake rib. And it's an even number repeat, so I wanted to do an odd number repeat to see how that worked with the connections, like when because you're knitting top down, so you're knitting the back to the armpit, and then you're knitting the front, connecting the front at the shoulders and knitting down, and you're doing one front and then the other front, and then they're connecting at some point, either here if it's the crew neck or the Henley, or up here if it's the crew neck. So you're doing that, and I just wanted to see how that would all work and write the pattern in such a way that people could do whatever they want, really, like really whatever you want. So I have some notes in there about that. I found that with that 3-stitch pattern repeat, that was a weird number for the stitch count that I needed for my chest measurement. And yeah, it's a little fiddly, but it works. Like there's a way to just kind of make it work. So it was fine. All right, let me move on. I really thought I'd have this done. The pandemic, I'm blaming the pandemic. The pandemic kind of threw me off, and I ended up knitting quite a lot on this. Like, I think last time I showed you my sleeve was here, so I knit about 8 inches of sleeve, and Stonecrop Cardi by Andrea Mowry. It gets steeked, so these vertical lines you're seeing here are the steeking lines, so I'll be cutting it open at the end. That'll be the last thing that I do. I am knitting it out of, let me tell you what I'm knitting it out of. Just want to make sure I'm recording, because sometimes I do this without hitting record. So the main body is the Minimalist by Uschitita. It is 100% Highland wool, so it is non-superwash. It's really, really awesome yarn. It has a great hand. I would knit with it again, but I don't know. I haven't actually checked out her yarn shop in a while. I have plenty of yarn, even if I was out of work and just crafting. I think I have enough to last me for a couple years. The yarn that you're seeing in the contrast yarn is all one color. It is by Spincycle, called Stay Out of the Forest. So this is what's left of the skein that was in the body, and this is my second sleeve skein. So I bought a second skein, and it was much brighter, as you can see. So like these are the blue greens that were in this skein, and then you can see how much brighter they are in the second skein. But I don't even think these blue greens are going to land in my sweater at all, because I think this sleeve, like this is the skein that's connected, and I don't know if I'm going to get even down to this pale green here, let alone the very vivid blue green. So yeah, I'll be surprised. I don't even know if I'm going to get to this, like get out of the bright orange and get into this more burnt orange color that's like here. I don't think that's going to happen. My second sleeve skein is here. So what I did when I ordered the second skein, I knew that I needed it to start with the dark red. So I wound the cake to the dark red. I eyeballed about half dark red, cut it, and then made a second cake. So that also started with dark red. So I was able to divide it essentially and get the same look on both sleeves. So, I mean, there is a slight difference, of course, because the Spincycle yarns are unique. They're all unique to, even within the same color, they're unique to each other. So I mean, it's going to change slightly. There is some greeny yarn in that greeny color in there. I don't know if I'm going to get there though. Like, I might just be fine with the red and oranges that are sort of bulging out of this little mini cake that I made. I guess I wound it too tight. That it's spitting out its innards. Anyway, yeah, I should work on this. You know what? Talking to you about it makes me want to work on it. I'm not sure why this is such a mess. I have like you know what? I'll do that later. There's a snarl of yarn in here. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that is my Stonecrop cardi, and I have been knitting on other things rather than it. So let me show you some of I have 2 new cast-ons. Oh, am I ready for those? I guess I am. Okay, I'll show you this one first. 2 new cast-ons. I have been working away on the Nell pullover by Erie. Oh, I think I talked about this. I haven't done too much on it since last week, or my last episode. I do remember talking about it, though, so this is your second time seeing it. Erie Shimizu, a Japanese designer. It's such a fun knit. I just am loving it. I have just passed the part. So last time I think I had just started. I'm not quite to the sleeve separation, but I just passed the part where you do a little textured stitch. So you see how you like hold the yarn in front for a few rows, and you alternate the rows that you hold in front. You don't do it on the sleeve, just on the front and back. Anyway, a little slip stitch, like hold yarn in front. There you go. Now you can see it. And then you do what is going to look like gathers. So you're doing an increase, like a very frequent increase all the way around. So I have just passed that point, and I think I'm about an inch or two, no, more than that, like probably like 3 inches from where the arm split for sleeves is. And then it should go faster. I mean, now I don't even know. I want to say it's something like 400 stitches on the needle. It's a lot. I am not alternating skeins. I hope this doesn't come back to bite me. But this yarn is so variegated. I think it'll be fine. I'm not getting too much pooling. You can see I have a little bit like where the pink is, where there's like these pink bands. But yeah, I'm okay with it. I like it, actually. It's so pretty. This yarn is so beautiful. It is cat sandwich fibers. It is, do I have the little tag? No, I don't. It is Princess Bonnibel is the color. I get her newsletter, and she's doing an update, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. I think April 5th was the date. And she has this color. If you have also fallen in love with it from looking at it on my screen, I just love that turquoise and blue together. Those moments where you're getting like that turquoise and blue, like right here. It's so pretty, and the pink is just so pretty. It's a variegated pink, like with some different shades of pink in there, and then lots of speckling, lots and lots of speckling on the pink sections. It just looks so, so gorgeous. Really love it. Really, really love it. So yeah, this has been fun to knit, just beautiful fabric. But because it requires a little bit of thinking, or it had required a little thinking, I ended up just kind of putting it down and not working on it all that much. But I also got inspired to make another Vertices Unite Baby Blanket. So that has been what has taken most of my knitting lately. I am probably close to halfway done with this baby blanket. Okay, I'm going to put a picture in here from Stephen West of the Vertices Unite Baby Blanket, and then I'm going to tell you about mine. So I had made one of these before for one of my friends who had a baby last October. I think it was last October. Yeah, really, I mean, he is just the most adorable, sweetest, cutest baby boy ever. Besides my own. My own kids. But yeah, I mean, really, really beautiful kid. But anyway, I made this for the first time, and I found that it was a really cool, look at it, isn't it so pretty? I found that it was a really beautiful pattern for using single skeins of DK weight. So, and also I found it was a really good pattern for using up bits and pieces of scrap yarn. So I'm going to show you the inside of my knitting bag right now so you can get an idea of what's happening here. Look. So what I did, I started to pull together colors. So this baby, we do not know the gender. The baby's father loves orange, so I used that to start. I was like, okay, this has to have orange in it because he loves the color orange, and then I'm going to build out from there. And I had a single skein of this beautiful melted baby suri from Qing Fibre, and I was like, yeah, I want to use that. And I thought it went really well with the orange, and it does. So that is what you're seeing in the first section here. I have 4 sections done. So that first section is the orange, bright orange. This is actually Stephen West Wool in his bicycle, the DK weight yarn. Or is it called tandem if it's DK weight? I think it's tandem if it's the DK weight. So I had a leftover partial skein of West Wool orange. I don't remember the color name. It's not citrus. I can't remember. But I'll put it in my notes. So I put those 2 together. Those are my colors A and B. And then I pulled a collection of scraps of blue yarn that I had. And I ended up, for this section, I actually used up all of them. So I had this beautiful icy blue color right here, which is like looking really washed out, but it's pretty nice soft baby blue. I had about 50 yards of that, and I had about 50 yards of this navy blue left over from an old pattern. This is Pearl Soho worsted. And then I had a little bit of this Plucky Knitter, more of a grade blue color. And then finally, I had a full skein of like a Frankenstein skein that I had taken 2 single plies, and I was messing around with my spinning wheel, and I put them together. I had scraps of single ply. I don't even remember what they are. I think that bright blue might be a hedgehog fiber bright blue color, that electric or something like that she had. And I plied it with another scrap of a blue toned yarn that I had on hand. I don't remember whose yarn it was, but anyway, I had this like sort of Frankenstein skein of blue, and then I have another that I did the same thing, another Frankenstein skein of blue, and this one has shots of green in it. So these will make up, since I used up my little bits of scrap, and I ended up making like a really cool stripe situation, like color block section on the blanket. The next time I have to use that color, I'll be using these other blues, these like more speckly blues instead of the solid blue. But I really, really love it. I am just kind of winging it. I also have, this is such a great project for like single skeins too. So I had this beautiful, this was another merino single, superwash single that I plied. So this is like a neon speckly yarn that was fingering weight, 400 yards of a fingering weight that I plied together on my spinning wheel. I made a 2-ply out of it, making it DK weight. So this is one of the colorways. It is already knitted in the blanket. So it's knitted in this section here, where I'm alternating it with I put together 2 partial skeins of this like purpley pink, like variegated purpley pink color. I think I probably won't use this. I think this is enough. I think I looked at the yardage. This is a beautiful Poolworth silk from Once Upon a Corgi. I opened the skein and used it for, I made a hat for one of my sons over a year ago. Because I make a lot of hats around Christmas time and like use them as stocking stuffers and stuff. And I do have a touch of the extra. I have this, that'll be my backup for this. If I get through this one, I'll switch over to this one of the melted baby suri. But this suri is just so nice. I think the baby's gonna love it because it's so nice and soft. It's not itchy at all. It is mostly alpaca yarn, and it has a little bit of silk and superwash merino in it. So it makes it nice and cozy, and I hope the baby will like it. Yeah, and I kind of went off script, so to speak. I went on to a tangent on the pattern, and I threw in a section of this bright yellow. This is from Stranded Dye Works. This is Limoncello. It's really, really gorgeous and bright and cheerful. And so that I threw that in here. I was supposed to knit this triangle here. It was supposed to be the purpley color from Once Upon a Corgi. I was supposed to use the same purple that you're seeing here in this section over here, but I just wanted to throw in a bright pop of yellow. I just thought it would look really cool. So I don't know what I'm going to do, if I'm going to do any more yellow. This might be the only yellow triangle in the whole bit, in the whole blanket. I may actually do the I-cord trim all in yellow. I'm supposed to do it in orange, but I'm going to see how the whole thing looks when it's done. The next section I will be doing is the section that'll fill in this void right here, and I am putting together these two, so that'll be pretty. It's just such a fun knit. It's so much fun, and it's been really awesome to, you know, to just be working on something for a new little person who's not here yet, but will be coming soon. So it's just been really a nice distraction to be thinking about a new baby and a new person. Yeah. So much fun. So that has been the majority of my knitting. I have also been, I have a future cast on. I schemed quite a bit this week with knitting, and you know, God love her, Andrea Mowry. She's such a great designer, and I resisted knitting her patterns for a while, not for any other reason other than I was like, they're so popular, and I don't like making things that I'm not conforming. I'm more of an individualist. So I was like, I don't really want to knit what everyone else is knitting, but you know what? I've made a couple of her patterns now. I really love them. So I guess once I took a step, put a toe in the water, that was it. I was all the way in. So anyway, she came out with a new pattern called the Throw It Over, and it is a pullover version of her throwback cardigan, the one that has like the big zigzag stripes that are done in Spincycle. So I looked at the pattern, I loved it, thought it was so cute, and I hadn't intended on making any more. I'm trying to move into spring knitting. I want to knit things that I can wear in the spring weather, rather than making heavyweight things. But I started to think about, what do I have? She had used this color here, Deep Bump, in her pattern, and I have some. So I was like, I started to think about it, and I was like, that would be pretty. I could really get behind that. And then I was looking at what yarn I have, and I have this beautiful yarn, this beautiful turquoise yarn by Kim Dyes Yarn. I had bought it in Vogue Knitting Live January 2019, and it's been sitting aside, and I had this in January. I had made a plan of what I was going to knit using my own yarn, like stash diving, and what could I make without, having to buy new stuff. So this was definitely some yarn that I wanted to use. This is also a Polworth silk blend. I don't know if I have I don't know what I did with the tags are over there. Anyway, I'll put the stuff online, but this is a Polworth silk blend. It's beautiful, beautiful yarn. It's DK weight. The pattern is written, Throw It Over is written in worsted weight, but that doesn't stop me. I just went ahead and did what I talk about in my Level Up Your Knitting video, where I tell you how to change your gauge, how to get your gauge to match the pattern. So I just did that. I knit a swatch, which I really do want to show you. So I'm going to grab it. I got the swatch. So I knit the swatch where the bottom is on size 7 needles and the top is on size 6. And I like the hand of the size 6. It's a little denser. I made a sweater in DK weight yarn, and I think I used size 7. I did the Rocaine sweater. This was like over a year or two ago. I don't like it. I don't like how messy it feels. Like, I don't like the fabric that it made, so I hardly ever wear it. I want to like this. I want to wear it. So I'm going to go ahead with the size 6 needles, and I converted the pattern, and I'm making, like, I think the size 6. I have not yet cast on. But I have it set up and ready to go. And I ended up, of course, like, so I quickly figured out, oh, I need two more skeins of the Spincycle yarn to be able to make this pattern. So I went onto the Spincycle website because I had remembered seeing earlier in the week when Andrea announced the pattern, that the pattern was on discount. So I purchased the pattern, and then I went to Spincycle and purchased more of their yarn so that I could get a nice trio. So this is going to be the trio, my trio of Spincycle. So for just, you know, the cost of 2 skeins, I'm able to make a sweater that uses like 7 skeins. So I think what I'm going to do is start off with this one here. This one's called, I don't remember the name, Verba something. I'll put it on screen. And then I'll go, this will be my middle color, Deep Bump, and then this will be my ending color. This is called Shades of the Earth. Which is really pretty. It's got these beautiful muted colors. I thought that would be really, really cool. A nice, cool. I could do it this way too. I could start with the green. But I thought with that green being so close to, to the color of the yarn, this is a much bluer color than this one. I love blues and greens. So that's what you'll see on here. So I thought that these two were maybe a little bit close to each other, though most of what you'll see knit in will be this sort of like pea green that's in the center. I won't get to this. I think the whole pattern uses less than 100 yards of each color, so I won't be using the entire skein anyway. I think they maybe even use like 75 yards or something like that. The yardage is pretty small. So yeah, so I thought maybe having this color bracketed by the other 2 colors, that would look nicer. So anyway, I'm excited. It was hard not to cast this on. I just, you know, every time I wanted to cast it on, I just picked up the baby blanket and worked on the baby blanket. The baby that blanket is for is due in October, so there will be quite a while. It'll be quite a while before I have a long time to finish that baby blanket, but I also want to make other things for that baby, so I figured. And it's been such a comfort, like in these weird times, to be working on, you know, something for a new little person. I'm drinking tea. What am I drinking? Oh, Sea Berry Spa. Sea Berry Spa. It's like kind of piney and berry. It has like a berry flavor, but it has like an herbal flavor too. By David's Tea. I don't remember what all the things are that are in it. All right, that is my knitting. I do have other knitting related things to show you when it comes to talking about my stash acquisitions. But I will get to that in a minute. Let me talk to you about spinning. So I have also found that I've been spinning quite a lot, because I can sit down. It kind of helps me get my thoughts together. So I can sit down and start spinning, and I can, you know, start making sense. I can do that first thing in the morning, or, you know, in midway through the day when I'm like when I'm finding that I'm just kind of spending time staring into space because I just don't know what to do with myself because I have so much going on in my head. Spinning really helps me clear that out. And so I've been spinning a lot. So I have been working on my advent calendar spin. So I finished another skein. So last episode, I showed you this one. I don't think I had soaked it yet, but after I soaked it, it really poofed up. I've called this skein Cadbury Eggs because it reminded me of the Cadbury eggs that are in the market right now. If you didn't watch last episode, you're wondering what I'm talking about with the Fibre Advent. So I had gotten a Fibre Advent calendar this past Christmas, and I opened a package of fiber every day. The theme was from Le Petite Potions, and the theme was mythical creatures. So every day I would open up a little poof of fiber and or a braid or a roll-log of fiber, and in it was a little like picture. So this is Pegasus. She wrote Pegasus, even though actually, or Pegasi. I'm not really sure if it's Pegasus or that's a specific, because it actually is a unicorn. So maybe that's the name. I didn't get all the references on the, but it was fine because I was all about the fiber, and it was cool that she had a theme that she liked. So each package was about 15 to 20 grams of fiber, and I ended up with 24 of them, so that's a whole lot of fiber. And I spent some time, I talked about it in my last episode, I spent some time sorting out the packages of fiber, like in groups of 4 or 5 chunks, and made 5 combinations of fiber that are going to become 5 skeins. So I have finished my second skein. This is a beautiful turquoisey blue with purple, shots of purple in there. I'll unskein it so you could see maybe a little better. So yeah, this is my second one. The fiber calendar was predominantly blues and greens. I have 3 more packages to spin. I have one that's mostly reds and pinks. I have another one that's even more purpley than this one. So this was the one that was more blue. So I have one that's more purple, but it does have lots of blue. And I have one that is predominantly greens, shades of green. So those will be my 5 skeins. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I had originally thought maybe making a sweater out of all of them together might be fun. I might still do that. I'm not really sure. But I was thinking my Cadbury eggs would make such a beautiful baby sweater, like a nice gender neutral baby sweater. So because it's beautiful pastels, and babies are cute in pastels. Oh, I was going to show you the creatures. So the creatures, here's the collection of creatures. This was a package of 5. So there you go. Those are the creatures that made up this. And the wools were all different. So this one was Merino, Rambouillet, and Firestar, which is a sparkle. I had another one that was Rambouillet, Merino, and Silk. One was Merino, Corriedale, and Glitz. One was just Shetland. And then the final one was BFL, Silk, Rambouillet, Polworth, Angora, Glitz. And the last word is hard to read. The interesting thing, I think it's the Shetland. Both of the skeins that I've made, when I soak them, they really bloom in the soak. So it's pretty cool, pretty interesting. This is a bigger skein too. This one is about 125 grams, where the other one, the Cadbury eggs, is a little less than 100. I want to say it's like 94 grams. So they're not exactly even, but it's fine. It's handmade. That's what happens with handmade. So far I'm just going to keep them together, or hoard them. I'm going to hoard them. And then when I'm done hoarding them, I might knit them into something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Okay. Oh, so I got distracted from spinning the fiber advent calendar because some gorgeous, gorgeous fiber came in. I hope you can see this. I think you can see this. Sorry about the glare. There you go. Look at this beautiful stuff. Actually, I can pull a tuft out and show you. This beautiful fiber came in from Stitch Together Studio. So I have talked about this before. I joined her year-long fiber club, which is based on, I want to say they're pagan holidays. I think she calls them something else, like kind of these nature-related holidays. So like Beltane, Yule. So it's like around the same time as some of our other holidays, but they have different names. So this is the holiday Ostara. You can see the label right there, Ostara. And it is made out of, the fiber is really cool. It is merino, targhee, and mohair locks, which are, you can see a lock right there actually. You'll see that little stretch of curl. So those are fun. There's some of them are like neon yellow. I have already started spinning. I bought 3 bags because, so the Fibre Club gives you 1 bag. So this is a 3-ounce bag. So the Fibre Club gives you 1 bag and then you get other stuff, which I'll show you in a sec. I have to show you the spin first. But I bought 2 extra bags when she released the color board, because what she does as it's getting closer, she'll release the color board of the theme of the holiday. And then you can buy, if you didn't get in on the club and you just want a skein of yarn or you want fiber, you can just buy, pre-order. So I pre-ordered 2 more bags because when I saw the color board, I was like, I'm going to love that. And I do. So this is what it looks like spun so far. This is just a single. This is a bobbin of single. I have another bobbin, the second single that'll be plied with this because I'm making 2-ply on the spinning wheel right now. So I will have 3 skeins, which will be enough for a sweater's quantity of this yarn. And it's so pretty. I love it. And the mohair is really fun when you get to it. It's the locks, the hairs are so long, so you end up like, you can get kind of thin. I'm trying to blend the locks as they come along with the fleece, so that I get a little bit more consistency in the strand. It's been really, really fun. So I'm probably going to finish spinning these 3 before I go back to my fiber advents. So definitely having fun spinning. So that is my sum total of spinning content. And now there's nothing to do but show you the new stuff I got, because I don't know about you, but since I'm online all day long working, it's easy to pop over, to look at Instagram, check out what sales are happening and stuff like that. So I did get a couple. Oh, I didn't finish showing you the rest of the stuff I got. So normally she makes a book. This is the rest of the stitch together. But this time she did this where she just wrote out, she makes a little booklet usually telling you. I got some flower seeds and I got a beautiful candle that I haven't burned yet because I was waiting to show you, with flower petals in it and some stones and stuff. It smells really good. It smells sort of pineapple-y, like citrus. I'm not really sure what the scents are. And we also got, I got a really cool project keeper, I want to say. I think I got 2. Oh, yes, I did. 2 project keepers. And now I showed you I can use them. And this one, this pink ball, that is volcanic rock. And you can put oil on that, like scented oil. And then, yeah, you get you smell it as you're knitting. Isn't that cool? Oh, and I also got this necklace with stitch markers in it. Stitch markers. And a seed balm for herbs. So, yeah, that's what you get in the kit. Isn't it so cool? Like, this is cute. So now that I've showed you, I can start using them. This, I will probably take these black markers out and put bright colored ones in there. It'll be more seasonal anyway. Okay. So that, I got all of that. Then I forgot to show you this last time, but I had got this yarn. I ordered this for my birthday. So my birthday was February. And I ordered this, it was coming up, and Qing Fibre had a sale. And she was launching a new yarn that is 100% cashmere. So I decided to do a little bit of a splurge for my birthday and buy a sweater's quantity of her 100% cashmere base. It's fingering weight. So I find it's pretty hard to find cashmere, 100% cashmere that's fingering weight. Often it's either like heavy worsted weight or maybe DK like cashmere. Clinton Hill cashmere makes a DK weight. Or it is lace weight. So I was excited that there was a fingering weight. So I did the math, figured out how many skeins I needed. The skeins are very small. They're only 25 grams. And she was having a sale. She was doing like a 20% off, I think, promotion for this yarn. And once it came, I caked it. I caked one skein and I swatched, and I am going to be doing one of these. I'm going to do the crew neck version though. I'm going to do a Rye Layering Tee out of it. I knit, this is a swatch, this is swatched on size 5, which the pattern is written for, and because this is thinner yarn than what the pattern's written for, I didn't really like the hand so much. It's a little too see-through, so I knit with size 4, and I'm going to just do the pattern adjustment, the size adjustments, so that this works. I did a 2x2 rib, which is what I think I'm going to knit the sweater in, a 2x2 stitch to get like a four stitch repeat. And yeah, that'll be another Rye Layering Tee. It should be really cozy and nice, and I hope I wear it a lot because it was expensive yarn, even with 20% off. It was expensive. So that'll be on my, probably a project that I will do later on this year. That was one stash acquisition. My another stash acquisition that I had to partake in, mostly because of my Nell sweater, I decided that I needed another sweater's quantity of cat sandwich fiber. So she had a sale too, and like I said, she's having another sale in April, a week from today. So I bought this gorgeous stuff. Oh, I have to take it out to show you. This is what she calls, so every dyer has their own name for their random freeform skeins, and she calls hers willy-nillys, I want to say. So this was a willy-nilly. Oh, actually, she named it. It says it's First Snowfall is the name of it, which that's interesting because I wonder if they're all. Oh yeah, that's interesting because I wouldn't necessarily associate this with snowfall, but it's this beautiful lime or mint green with shots of speckles of purple and pink, and it goes off into this like a cinnamon brown color. So I just love the way her yarn's knit, and I've learned now that when you look at the skein and you're getting like 3 separate colors, that you're gonna get this really nice mosaic of color in the knit. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I have no plans for this. This will just be hoarded for a while. I'm going to have to really resist buying another sweater's quantity at her next sale. Okay, then I just have a couple other quick things to show you, and I will wrap it up. I got 2 new books. I went on Amazon last week and saw that I've heard so much about this, Knitting Without Tears by Elizabeth Zimmerman, and I realized that a lot of the way that I learned knitting was greatly influenced by Elizabeth Zimmerman, even though I didn't know it, because people were being influenced by her in the 70s and 80s because she was writing copiously about knitting, and she was one of the big voices in the knitting community. So, yeah, so I just thought it'd be good to have. Like, I think she talks a lot about how to kind of wing your own pattern, which I do anyway, but I just thought it would be nice to have on hand. And it was really inexpensive, and I wanted to read things that were written by her in her own voice. So I thought I would just grab that. And I also picked this up, the Knitter's Almanac. The reason that I got this one, so this is really what sent me online, was because there was it's right here. It's this little, let's see if you can see it. See the little lime green or like minty green. Maybe if I pull back now, you'll see it. There it is. That maybe there's a better picture in there. It is a pattern. Oh, I know. I'll put a picture on screen of the pattern that this is. So this pattern, that baby sweater, was published in Vogue Knitting magazine in 1991. And I had a subscription to Vogue Knitting at that time, and I got the magazine, and this was, they had taken the pattern from this book, which I think she had originally written in this as part of a series that she was publishing somewhere, a monthly series where she was publishing patterns and stuff from the 70s. So from 1974 was when it was first written, when the stuff in here was first written. And so this goes, you can see it says projects for each month. So it's like January, February, March, April, May, all the way through. Her February article was about baby patterns. So anyway, Vogue had republished this baby sweater, and I must have made that baby sweater like, I don't know, 12 or 15 times. Like I made it, and anybody who had a baby, I made that sweater. I made it for my own children. I sized it up because she writes some stuff in there about sizing it up. I sized it up and made a version that was big enough for me, even an adult size version. I had made some ones. I made a couple that were, as my boys got older, because my oldest son was born in 91. So I made, of course, he had a couple of them. And then I had made a couple more for my next son. And then as they grew, I made them, for when they were 2 and when they were 4. They had versions. So I made a bunch of those. I don't know where my old Vogue is, though. I held on to it for a really long time, but I've moved so many times since then. I don't know where it is. Like, it might be in a box somewhere. Like, it legit could be in a box somewhere. Couldn't find it. So I just thought, I'm just going to order the book, and it's in there, and I can just knit it from the book. So I was reading it through. It's very different, her style of writing a pattern. It's quite different from, the directions they're so tiny. It's just a short, brief pattern. I hope I can remember. I mean, it's not even a paragraph, the whole instructions. And so I was reading through it, and I was like, oh my God, I don't really think I know what she's talking about here. But I think once I start knitting, I'll be okay. And my God, I made so many of them. I should know how to do that. I should have this pattern memorized. So I hope when I get into it, I will not have any trouble knitting it. So, because I'm excited to make that baby pattern. So I for my friend that had the baby in October, I wanted to make her this pattern for her son, and I couldn't find it, and it just it was bugging me. So now that there's another baby on the horizon, I'm like, I gotta find that pattern. So that's where that is. One last stash acquisition. I am the happy recipient of this cute little project bag, which I won from Christy Glass Knits. So it's a pattern bag called Stolen Moments. Yeah, so cute. This came in the mail like 2 days ago. I haven't used it yet. I just put it aside so I could share it with you, but it's really, really cute. I have not checked out this vendor. I don't know a lot about them. Stolen Minutes. Yeah, I'm going to check her out. She has an Instagram, and she has an Etsy shop, Stolen Minutes on Etsy, if you're interested. I know she makes different ones. There was, Christy had shown this rose one, and then one with flamingos, so I think they're pretty fun. It looks like a pretty sturdy, well-made bag. Yeah, great for a small project, like a baby sweater. Am I talking too much about babies? I have to just show you one more thing before I sign off. I know this is already really long, but what the heck, we're all home, right? My niece is an artist, and she is a painter, and she's a delightful person who, like many artists, is kind of works in the gig economy, and she is home and has time on her hands, and so she does some really cool work. I'm going to put a picture, I'll put on, her name is Bria Singer, and I'll put her Instagram handle here. She does some really awesome artwork. I am a huge fan. Anyway, I thought it would be really fun to have her paint my cat. She likes to do dissections, paintings of dissections of, or like, anyway, it sounds weird, but she will like slice open a person or like a body part or an animal in a painting, not for real, not in real life, but in a painting, and make it so it's sort of mythical. It's like these morph paintings. So I told her to take my cat and morph him with yarn and wool. And so she's doing that. So I'm going to put a picture here of the pencil draft that she sent me. And I will definitely share the finished object with you when it comes. But I am so excited to be getting a painting from her. And I get to support her, you know, while I'm paying for it, of course. I'm supporting her while I'm giving, you know, I'm helping her out. I'm not supporting her, but I'm like, you know, supporting her work and supporting her while she's home and unable to work, unable to earn a living. So, yeah, she needs to earn a living from her art anyway because she's so talented. But yeah, I will share it with you as it progresses. If she sends me progress shots, if you follow her, you'll see progress shots because she's good about posting those. Anyway, I hope you're doing well, and if you have anything you want to share with me, I read each and every comment and comment back, and I owe you a video about how to measure yourself. I haven't forgot about that. I may do that tomorrow, so that'll probably be coming out next, before my next episode, and I will see you all very soon. Bye!